Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where I take a look at someone else's mock draft and I'm mocking, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. We got a good one for you today. We're going to be checking out WalterFootball's mock draft. He always has the most interesting mocks, but he also has his ear to the NFL really well. Like, he was one of the first guys on Aiden Hutchinson inside the top 10. He was really early on Devon Witherspoon last season, so I can't wait to take a look at this sucker. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Now let's go ahead and get this sucker underway. This draft order is based on I'm assuming it's based on the first pick because he's got the Broncos. I'm assuming it's based on the current draft order. We're 2 weeks in, guys. Draft order is going to change a lot, but he's got Caleb Williams going to the Broncos. I feel like whoever's picking first is probably taking Caleb Williams. Well, what if it's the Cardinals picking first? Then if they're content with Kyler Murray, and then they'll probably get a Keen's ransom for this pick, and that team will take Caleb Williams. That's probably what's gonna happen. Probably strong word. That there is a chance that could happen, because I could also see the Cardinals going the other way and ditching Kyler for, again, nice profit. But dude, if the Broncos are picking first, then yeah, you're already in a financial hole with Russell Wilson, and I've seen people be like, well, he's not the problem. Well, he's not the solution either. This offense is stagnant, and Sean Payton, if you want to be there a long time, you're going to have to go find a franchise quarterback. And if you're picking first, this is your best chance to do it. All right, at number 2, we got the Chicago Bears taking Drake Maye. I won't dispute this one too much. Like, Justin Fields it's just been not great. He isn't processing the field well. He's he holds on the ball for quite some time and just doesn't see open guys. It's not a good look the first couple of games. Maybe you could turn around, but if you're the Bears, you're picking it too. You're probably taking the top quarterback on the board. So again, we're early on in this, but I'm not against it at this point. The Cardinals managed to get Marvin Harrison Jr. That would be so awesome to pair up with Kyler Murray. You also got Hollywood there. You got Michael Wilson. You still got Rondale Moore. So it's like now you got a plethora of weapons. The offense suddenly looks really good, and you can start addressing defense, whether it be in the offseason or in the later rounds of this draft. Chicago Bears, this pick I'm assuming is via the Panthers. They go Latu. Now, the neck issue is going to be kind of a big thing for Latu. It caused him, essentially, for Washington to be like, we don't want you to play another down for us because we don't want you to get hurt. He goes to UCLA. None of that's been a problem for him. That's great. Combine's going to be big in terms of how he medically checks out, but he has been the most disruptive pass rusher in college football as of right now. So here goes number 4, not out of the realm of possibilities. The Rams take Jared Verse, my boy, the former Cat from Albany. I gotta remember, man. Sometimes Walter has these small little tidbits and then goes right into his next pick. But the Rams defense is Aaron Donald against the world. Byron Young has shined at moments, but adding more pass rush can go a long way and can help those young corners or whoever you bring in there to play the corner position. So Jared Verse, good pick here, probably the top defensive player on the board. And then we saw Olu Fashanu going to the Raiders here. This could be very interesting because maybe they get off Colton Miller's contract because he is pretty expensive, but he's still like one of the top tackles in the league. They're playing on the right tackle side is probably still Jermaine. Is it Eleanor? Can't remember how you say his last name. And he's been honestly fairly solid. So, I mean, if you want to address offensive line, I think that's fine. They've kind of been getting roughed up. They haven't been doing much as run blockers. And to be fair, like Olu, his thing's kind of pass protection. Like run blocking is probably the area he needs to get better at. But I mean, you're picking here at the for the Raiders, like tackle is the best value right now on the board. And then we got Braylon Trice still here in the first round. I like it, going to the Cardinals. They get pass rush. Listen, like right now they kind of have this carousel of pass rushers. It was Gardeck week 1. Then this past week it was Victor Dimukeje, former edge player from Duke, played alongside Chris Rump. But they bring in maybe a real star there in Braylon Trice. His pass rush win rate was absolutely insane. I believe it led college football last season. Dude that is very strong, very powerful, good size. But I wouldn't say like the most bendy guy, but doesn't necessarily need to be to win. The New England Patriots will take Joe Alt. They need a tackle desperately. Currently, this past week, their stars were Calvin Anderson and Lowe, former Illinois tackle. So yeah, they're in desperate need, even without injuries. Like Trent Brown, you can't trust that guy to stay healthy, and Riley Reef is on IR, so he's basically just a veteran bridge guy at this point. Chargers take Kalen Keene, first corner off the board, by the way. Kalen Keene. This defense has not been good. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you have an offensive-minded coach, right? Oh, wait, you don't. You might though after this season. Maybe Kellen Moore ends up being the head coach there if things kind of continue the way they're going. But J.C. Jackson, again, can't be trusted. He's kind of been a bust in terms of what they invested in. Asante Samuel Jr., Michael Davis, they have taken turns getting kind of toasted this year, but they're probably more consistent. And I mean, with Asante Samuel Jr., he's a guy you could probably kick inside if they want to keep Keene maybe as an outside player. So, yeah, I can see it. Brock Bauer going to the Colts here. This would be just fun. They've been looking for a tight end for a long time. Unfortunately, Jelani Woods ended up on IR to begin the year. Kylan Granson's more of this big slot. Mo Alley Cox is more of a tight end too. So like Brock Bowers is a top 10 talent. I know you look at the tight end position, you're like, oh, top 10. And it's like, no, he's kind of that guy, man. He's that good of a playmaker. You could use him as a big slot. You could use him in line. He's just so versatile in what he can give this team. The Minnesota Vikings, they take Shedeur Sanders. He is the next quarterback off the board. Kirk Cousins is a free agent at the end of the season. I know a lot of Vikings fans want this pick to be a quarterback, but if they are picking this low, then it kind of depends on who is quarterback 2 then, or quarterback 3, excuse me. Shedeur's had a very good season. Maybe doesn't have an elite big arm, but his arm is fine enough for the NFL. He's got good poise in the pocket. He goes through his processing pretty well. Something he needs to work on is he's already got like he's been sacked 15 times, and that could be a reflection on the offensive line. But there are times where he will just he will take his time processing the field and not really be aware of his surroundings, or even if he extends play with his feet. He wants to be a passer, but at some point it's either you gotta throw it away or you gotta just tuck that thing and start running. So Shedeur, I'm very excited to see the Oregon game this week, see how he does, especially without Travis Hunter. That's gonna kind of be big. Tennessee Titans take Amarius Mims. Mims, I think it was his ankle. He had tightrope surgery on. And I think that makes him out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So he should return by the season. I think he has a chance of being involved in the top 3 tackles here. For me, it's like Joel Olufashanu, and I think Mims could get in that mix there, and we could definitely see it a similar class to where it was like Charles Cross, Ike Ekwonu, Evan Neal. Really, everyone had those guys ordered in all sorts of ways. They were definitely in the top 3, but the order of it was like different on everyone's boards. I feel like this class has a chance to be similar. Titans taking him. They got Peter Skoronski, and honestly, Skoronski, he could play guard. Maybe you kick him out to right tackle. And I mean, Andre Dillard, you could kick him. He played guard there for the Eagles when he was able to get on the field, so he's a little flexible as well. So Yeah. Mason Smith going to the Seahawks. Seahawks pass rush has been really bad. It hasn't been good. Mason Smith has been back for the last 2 games. We've seen some upside. It hasn't been like a dominant performance, but now he's primarily playing interior. Remember, he played edge for his freshman season. And I mean, the Seahawks could use some pass rush regardless, I guess, of where it comes from. This kind of feels like what they just spent money on in Draymond Jones. And maybe you're more looking for a pass rusher. But I mean, Mason Smith is the guy that could probably play deeper into the defensive alignment if he has to. So like, you're just getting a really good athlete with good physical tools. Xavier Worthy, next receiver off the board. That actually surprises me a little bit. And it's the Giants taking him. They're just adding more speed. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. That's a lot of speed with Jalen Hyatt. I don't think that's exactly the type of receiver that they need. But Worthy's speed, honestly, probably have him be a first round talent for a lot of people. It's just, man, you're gonna have to live with some of his drops. Just sucks. The Packers take JC Latham. He's talking about, so Walter talks about here, David Bakhtiari is probably playing his final year as a Packer, so here's a replacement for him. I don't know if JC Latham will be an immediate starter, because you do worry about him technique-wise. But I mean, he is kind of an O-lineman coach's wet dream in terms of the size, the athleticism, the length, the power. You just love all that. He's just still kind of putting it together, though. And then the Saints take JT Tuimoloau out of Ohio State, a guy that his production needs to catch up to his talent. I don't mind that. Hey, the Saints, you could probably still address the edge position, because keep in mind, I mean, Cameron Jordan, he's up there in the years, but Carl Granderson is literally like a budding star at this point. He has looked really good this year. They do have Isaiah Foskey, so maybe you look on the interior, because I think Jerzon Newton would be fun here. That would be really good. But they take Tuimoloau, and that's fine, but he's not going to get drafted in this range unless he really starts producing. All right, let's go ahead to pick 17 through 32. What it do, baby boo? Gotta get these ads out of the way. Yo, Walter, you're killing me. You're killing me, dude. I need to get an ad blocker. All right. Just gonna keep clicking exit on all these suckers. So with pick 17, it's the Jets. They're taking Keensley. Still haven't got a pronunciation for his last name. I know. Stop bothering me. Big fan of his. Really good athlete for his size. Good length. Shows good power. Just needs to polish up his game. The offensive line for the Jets is just, right now, it's just bad, dude. It's bad, whether it's a tackle or the interior positions. It's all bad right now, which kind of a shame, man. That was one of the bright spots. We thought, at least with the interior position, we thought tackle might be a little bit of a struggle this year, but it's honestly been worse than I'd expect. Okay, we got the Houston Texans taking Keon Coleman. Oh, I love this addition, because suddenly, like, you replace Robert Woods at this point with Keon Coleman. You have Nico Collins, then you have Tank Dell, who could play outside or in the slot. Keon Coleman, man, he is that. I think he can be that alpha X wide receiver. I'm a big fan of his, and adding more playmakers, because I honestly don't even think they have like a number one, true number one as of right now. Nico Collins, though, is emerging, and Tank Dell has looked really good. So adding more weapons to CJ, I don't have no problem with. Atlanta Falcons take Quinn Ewers, my boy. He needs to improve that accuracy downfield, man. He really does. But that Wyoming game kind of sucked after coming off a big game against Alabama. I'm sure he'll get it back together. But Desmond Ridder, you can look at the completion percentage. A lot of that is just scheme, dude. Like, he is schemed up just so he can't be detrimental to the offense. I mean, there's so many errant passes from Desmond Ridder at this point. I get it. He's a first-year starter. Let's give him time. Let's see how he looks like at least halfway through the season. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season, well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only 30 bucks by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet, so send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals, and guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. At 20 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we got Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. He had 5 starts last season, as well, I think Anton Harrison and Wanya Morris. He had injuries with Harrison and Morris. I think he had a suspension to start the year. I can't remember. The 2023 draft was like a lifetime ago. But I mean, looking at the Bucs, man, like, I feel like Godecki hasn't really been a problem yet this year. It's really been the interior of that line. But regardless, like, Guyton, really solid. Like, he's got a really good body. He's 320, but he wears it really, really well. And you just love the movement skills for him, especially actually in this offense. So, not a bad pickup. Guyton could be a hot riser. I do think he kind of struggles at the point of attack, and part of that is just him not sinking enough, but I'm not against this. Next, we got the Washington Commanders. Hey, look at that old school logo there, baby. Go Jeremiah Trotter. Here he puts Jamin Davis is looking like a buzz. I think he's been looking good this year. I think he's finally putting it all together, but I guess agree to disagree. I mean, I think like Cody Barton was definitely a downgrade from Cole Honeycomb. Holcomb Honeycomb. Me want Honeycomb. But I mean, if you're Washington, you kind of, I want to say, get a better, like a more high value pick here, right? So you may, like, in terms of positional value, so maybe like think offensive tackle, but a lot of tackles have already come off the board. Receiver? I don't know, where else can you go with this pick? I mean, getting your pick of linebacker, that's not bad. Jeremiah Trotter, not been a great year thus far for him, but like tough start against Duke, but I think against a couple of cupcake teams, I think he's kind of put it together. Regardless, I mean, it's kind of a tough pick. Jacksonville Jaguars go with Rook Orohoro. I think I added an extra aura in there, but Orohoro. I'll nail it by the end of draft season, I promise. This dude's got a lot of upside, really do. I think Trent Baalke loves these freaks, so I think he'd probably like Rook quite a bit because he's got good versatility. So yeah. So literally, we've gone back to back Clemson players. Holy moly, Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins is definitely a guy helping his stock a lot, as everyone's kind of looking for that cornerback two in this class, and not everyone's kind of on agreement apparently on quarterback one. I haven't seen Quillian McKinstry yet, but Nate Wiggins, man, he's a really good athlete. If you go to my cornerback rankings before the summer, he didn't make my top 10, but at the end of that video, I mentioned 2 players that I thought had first round potential and that they could probably be first round picks by season's end. One was Nate Wiggins. The other was go and watch my video. I pretty sure it was the Kansas corner. I think that's like, oh, who is it? Kobe. Oh, I want to know now. Kobe Bryant. That's right. Not the Black Mamba, but of Kansas. But he's very undersized. So those were the 2 guys I was like, hey, watch out for those guys. They could have big years to be first round picks. Baltimore, man, it does feel like they're always short on corners. This is a team that struggles with injuries. So getting someone outside next Marlon Humphrey isn't a bad idea. They got Rocky Sin and Ronald Darby right now, but you want more of a long-term answer. All right, Dallas Turner going to the Steelers here. Why? I don't know. This just feels like you're getting depth for a position you don't necessarily need depth for. So they talk about, okay, the Steelers were 8-2 with TJ Watt on the field last year, but 1-6 without him. that's a lot of investment in the position when you look at your corners. Feel like you want to maybe add another one there. Your offensive line is in dire need of help. I just feel like edge ain't the position. Dallas Cowboys go with Javion Cohen at the U, baby. First Hurricane on the board, by the way. Interesting. Offensive line help would be much appreciated, much obliged. For the Cowboys, who are kind of going through some injuries right now, Zach Martin, they could not be long for the roster. And I do expect Tyler Smith to be the left tackle of the future. They have Terrence Steele there locked up. So you could be looking for even a center with Tyler Biotish, who actually just apparently dealing with a hamstring issue right now. But I think he is into the final year of his contract. So Cohen wouldn't be bad here, but I don't really think there's a first round offensive interior player. The Niners go with Kamari Lassiter. So I like Lassiter, man. I think if you're a team that likes press corners, Lassiter's kind of your guy. He's kind of looked pretty solid this year. Things are starting to come together with him. You could also say that about Denzel Burke. I think those are two guys that have really helped their stock at the beginning of this season. And I mean, everyone loves a good press corner with great athletic traits, and Lassiter would fall into that category. The Miami Dolphins go with Michael Hall Jr. Listen, if we part ways with freaking Christian Wilkins, this isn't a replacement for him. Like Hall, he's a little short and stubby. The dude is like a pinball, though. He bounces off contact like no other and finds his way into the backfield. But I'm kind of settled on him being more maybe of this early day 2 guy right now. I would love to get a tackle, but obviously we saw tackles kind of fly off the board early here. I think you can make a great case for corner. You can make a great case for safety. We haven't seen a safety off the board yet. So, yeah. Who we got at 28? We got Malik Neighbors going to the Chiefs. This is ridiculous. Neighbors is a top 10 talent. This guy went off against Mississippi State. He outplayed a vast majority of the receiving corps last season and emerged as this nice target. I love what he can do after the catch. 21 forced missed tackles in 2022. A guy that can win underneath. He can win at all levels. You get great separation and be a vertical threat too. Like the Chiefs would love that. And I mean, he's got speed. They would love to get a similar speedy threat. We got Javon Bullard going to the Eagles. I'll say this is fun. I like this quite a bit. They got currently it's Avonte Maddox there in the slot. Maybe utilize Bullard like a CJ Gardner type. But Bullard's freaking nice, dude. He flies all over the field. And I mean, the Eagles do love Georgia players. So this is kind of the status quo, right? The Buffalo Bills, they go Emeka Ibuka out of Ohio State. They get a very, very nice route runner to pair up there with Stephon Diggs. You still got the long vertical threat of Gabe Davis. That's hella fun. Would love a right tackle, but I get it if you think tackle flew off the board too early and this is not a good place to get one. That's fine. I think you could also make a case maybe for like I don't know, some of the defensive interior talents in this class, because like Jazon Newton on the board, Leonard Taylor on the board, Chris Jenkins on the board. I don't know. Oh, Max Melton. Ooh, this might be early for him, but I like him as a day 2 guy right now. The Lions wanted Devon Witherspoon. There's a comparison. So perhaps they obtain a corner with this pick. He is a good athlete. If you're familiar with the name, Bo Melton is his brother. Bo Melton was like 7th round pick by the Seahawks, who ironically also got Devon Witherspoon. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm connecting dots here that aren't meant to be connected. But it's nice to see a different name in these mock drafts. All right, I guess that leaves the Bengals. They get Cooper DeJean. Wow. Oh, he's got a second round to this. I gotta see what players are in the second round. This would be a great pick for the Bengals. I mean, where does he fit in to that defensive backfield? I don't know, but golly, dude. I mean, for him to fall down here for the Bengals, that's just too easy. All right, I want to see what's round 2 look like, which means I gotta hit all these close out of ads. All right, let's see. Let's see what round 2 looks like. All right, there's Keelan Carson, big fan of his. Yeah, I'm just gonna roll through this one. Marcellus Dial, haven't checked him out yet. Ooh, but I'm interested. I'm actually gonna write his name down right now. I like getting the names of these guys, and maybe I'll eventually get to them before the end of the season. Me in South Carolina, I imagine I can. First running back off the board right here. There's Tate Ratledge. Is that a little early for him? There's finally Kool-Aid McKinstry. All right, what else we got going? Spencer Rattler, hello. Cole Bishop, this safety class is studded. Was that the first safety off the board? Finally, Johnny Newton, fallen. KJ Jefferson, ooh. Man, Jefferson, he's gonna have a big game against LSU, really. There's Cam Kitchens. A lot of people like Zach Frazier, man. I don't know, man. I feel like he's just too vanilla for me. Maybe that's on me, though. Chico Bennett, I don't really know what he's done this season. Actually, I could look it up. I have him as a UDFA. I get why people like him. I just think that his lack of power is just so alarming that doesn't make him draftable. I wonder what he's done for Virginia this season, though. He's played it. He hasn't been great this year. Okay, so he missed the Tennessee game. So I assume he was coming back with an injury. Will probably play it on a pitch count against James Madison, and then Maryland was his first real game back. Okay, maybe give him some time. Oh no, man, I'm losing my voice, guys. There's Chris Jenkins. Ooh, Kate. Oh, I will happily add another guard here from Kansas State. Please and thank you. So we got K. Yeah, now y'all just looking at me at how I add names. Ooh, they like this person. I need to go check them out. All right, so KT Levinston. So this must mean he's playing opposite of Cooper Beebe, right? Yeah, that would mean he's playing opposite of Cooper Beebe. Okay, so that's a little interesting. All right, there's Michael Penix, Jatavion Sanders, Tyler Nubbin. So a lot of names we're familiar with. Bo Collins, I don't feel like he's done much this year, but no, man. Traits. I got Jamal Banks down. I haven't watched him, but he's on my list. Eventually, I might get to him. Shaq Sawyer, Xavier Truss. I don't believe in both the guards at Georgia. I'll tell y'all, Kendall Milton, he screams day 3. He screams day 3. I don't even think he's the best back on their team. Legit. Ooh, Ro Torrance. Oh, I'm Chris Jericho up here. You just made the list. That's so funny. I was just watching Arizona State a couple of weeks ago because of BJ Green. So, hey, we got an addition. That's the end. Well, I guess that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing as always. Until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.